Parts of Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina are in shambles after more than a dozen tornadoes ripped through the area overnight. 5 people are dead, more than 150 injured, and about 500 are homeless. Mark Leff has the story.
It's clear and cold in Raleigh now, and many people who had homes on Sunday night when temperatures were in the 70s have none after the temperature dropped nearly 30 degrees. The twisters touched down more than a dozen times in the middle of the night. This is all that's left of Judith Gardner's home on the 2nd floor of an apartment building. Most people were asleep when a cold front that had dumped snow in the western mountains hit Raleigh a little after 1 a.m.
It seemed like everything was falling apart.
What did you see when you went outside?
This.
Tony DeVita made it to a shelter still clutching the thing that helped save his life.
Every window was blown out, and what I did was I grabbed a pillow and covered my face and held on to my bedroom door and hid myself in the corner of the bedroom.
Blue lights were all that was left of the Town Ridge Kmart after a tornado hit it. Some employees were still inside the store an hour after a Sunday sale had ended at midnight.
I knew I couldn't make it to the back of the store. I started running, but I knew I wouldn't make it, so I got to the toys and I ducked under, and that's when everything started falling. I'm just lucky to be alive.
One department store employee was trapped briefly. He's among more than 140 people hurt throughout the area when the walls came crashing down. Now the cleanup begins as people try to rebuild their homes and lives. Word is the more than 100 people who worked at the Kmart will have their old jobs back in a new store on the same site within a year. Mark Leff, CNN, reporting.
Interest rates are on the rise again. Chase Manhattan Bank of New York led the way by hiking its prime lending rates from 10 to 10.5%. Other banks, including Chemical Bank and Citicorp, quickly followed suit. The last change in the prime was on August the 11th. A new perspective.
Then I heard the train that everybody talks about, and the house exploded.
In Castalia, northwest of Raleigh, 14-year-old Anthony Harris lost both his parents as a tornado destroyed their mobile home.
I couldn't see nothing but the trees, and it was raining real hard. So I just called everybody, and the only person answering was my sister.
Residents say the tornado struck without warning, trapping some workers in this Kmart store.
I knew I couldn't make it to the back of the store. I started running, but I knew I wouldn't make it, so I got to the toys and I ducked under, and that's when everything started falling. I'm just lucky to be alive.
Amid the chaos after the storm, there were some emotional family reunions.
I just bought a house. I lost everything. Here's my mom. I know she's freaking out.
Whole neighborhoods turned out to search for victims in the rubble.
Everyone's accounted for.
More than 500 people were left homeless by the storm, forced to spend the day in a shelter, lining up to phone worried relatives.
There's been a tornado. We're all right, but we've been evacuated.
Damage estimates are exceeding $30 million. The state has begun to apply for emergency aid. But for the lucky ones who survived, material losses seem insignificant.
I did real well. I'm standing here now. I think we did all right.
Peter Van Sant, CBS News, Raleigh, North Carolina.
The National Weather Service today forecast.
People in Raleigh, North Carolina were blown right out of their homes. Others helped neighbors search through the rubble for their belongings today. At least 150 people were injured and hundreds are homeless. One more thing about the weather. The National Weather Service issued its long-range winter forecast today.
They killed 4 people. 2 of them were children. At least 150 others were injured today. NBC's Robert Hager reports that the twisters struck without warning.
The tornadoes were fierce. 17 of them touched down after midnight with little warning. Survivors were roused from sleep. Hundreds had to be rescued. In Raleigh, a huge Kmart department store completely collapsed.
Sprinklers went off, and then it just caved in.
One of 4 maintenance men who were inside the store but lived.
My leg, I worked myself out and worked my way to an opening and just stood there yelling for help.
Chris O'Connor was in his car when the storm hit.
When I came up, there was a piece of timber sitting in the seat next to me, impaling the passenger side.
And we're alive, and that's all we worry about. We lost everything else, but that's material. We don't need it. Everything.
By day, this is what the dress department at the Kmart looked like. This was aisle 11, sundries. The winds toppled big trucks, destroyed this computer store and the shoe store next door. In the Raleigh area alone, more than 130 homes were damaged, 1/3 of those destroyed, and 500 people left temporarily homeless. Like Michael Brunner, who escaped though his house collapsed around him. Like this couple. And like Nancy Quigley, who escaped with her 3 small daughters. Today, friends came to help her salvage a few things. A Christmas wreath. Nancy's husband, Ed, had been out of town on business. This afternoon, he returned to find her alive. The storm took minutes to pass through. It'll take months to clean up. Robert Hager, NBC News, Raleigh, North Carolina.
Long-range forecast now. The government forecast today that this winter